नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं Yes, please. Can someone summarize what we saw or briefly recollect what we saw yesterday so we can move ahead? Ji. Anybody? Yeah, Chaitanya ji. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yesterday we started with looking at Prakriti, which is Jala, Vayu, Agni, Akash, Dharti, and with that Mana, Buddhi, and Ahankar. And we saw that each of these is kind of needed for functioning, even Ahankar. So we started from there. So then Shri Krishna explained this is a lower Prakriti. The higher Prakriti is the force of Chaitanya or force of life, which then binds everything together. So all living beings are infinitely small fraction. I mean, they have infinitely small fraction of his energy, the energy of higher consciousness. So it is just a quantum of it. And he said he only is the creator and he only is the destroyer, and he is like that sutra that is holding all the things together like a pearl necklace. The pearls may be different, but the string that holds them is same. So he's like that. He also said he's like Om, which is a like Brahmanad or sound of creation. And he was also explaining that everywhere in Srishti he's there. So right from wisdom of awakened to the you know what you say, uh, to every good thing, as in, or and if similarly every bad thing, I mean, whatever it may be, it is still manifested from him. So he also talked about three gunas briefly. He touched upon it, that rajas, tamas, and sattva. And he said even though they are manifested from him, the superficial form of them, they don't have, I mean, his presence. They have manifested, but not the superficial form that they contain the divine. So he also said that the desire to follow dharma is right, but that has to be without any attachment or any moha, because that is the problem. And then yeah, so these three gunas, they togetherly function and create Maya. Maya is not, I mean, we can't say it's completely bad. It's just that we have to understand to deal with it. And once we understand that, I think as you said, we don't get played. We understand what is happening. So yeah, and by Sarpa, the problem is that, so what he had also said, that you have to conceive the truth. I mean, I can't do it for you, so you have to come out of these things and you have to see the truth. So yeah, it is up to you. The onus is on you.
Yes, sir, absolutely, Chaitanya ji. So this is the concept of Maya. It is there. Maya is there, engulfing this creation. If you study the Bhagavatam, you will find that the birth of Maya coincides with the birth of Krishna. Yoga Maya is there immediately with Krishna. There is symbolism inside of that also. So there's a divinity in Maya, and probably the Maya is the hurdle which has to be penetrated to reach the divine. But not everybody realizes this. That is where we're going to take ahead from the 15th shloka. Krishna says, Namam, namam dushpruti no mudhaha prapadyante naradhamaha mayaya pahrita jnana asuram bhava mashrita. So Krishna says, the foolish and the evil do not attain me, for in their bewilderment, the truth they do not see. Disillusioned by Maya, they resort to base means, governed by the lower nature of the demonic realms. Krishna says, those mudha, those who are fooled by the ignorance, who are trapped in moha, they don't attain me. Why? Because their desire is most important. For a drunkard, what is going to be the moksha for the, according to the drunkard's aspect, what is the greatest aspiration? More alcohol only, isn't it? So even if that is destroying the body, the person who keeps drinking will continue drinking only until he comes out of that maya, out of that trap which has come from the illusion of the Madhira. He has to come out of it. Unless you come out, you will not realize. And Krishna says, those he's not cursing, isn't it? It's not a curse that people will not realize me at all. But he's saying if they are trapped by their desires, they will run after the desires only and will never seek the divine. The foolish and the evil and even the wrongdoers, they think they are doing right. And so they keep going on that path which is taking them away from the divine. Because they don't see the truth in their bewilderment. Sometimes people say money is everything, and they keep walking on the wrong path in search of money. What happens afterwards? They get the money, isn't it? But do they get a trupti? Do they get a satisfaction? Many times, after getting a lot of money, they feel, Arey, what did I do? I could have focused on the health. Or sometimes all the money in the world cannot buy you good health, isn't it? So this aspect is not understood when people run after, the wrong ways. But it is just desires that are fueling them. And in their bewilderment, they don't see the truth. Thus, confused and disillusioned by Maya, they resort to base means, governed by the lower nature of the demonic realms. So we saw higher nature, lower nature. Like that, there are forces at play. There are forces at play in the world, and such people are prone to what we call destructive forces, Asuri forces. We will see later on. There are dual forces in the world, which are always at play. You do something good, there is a force which is trying to prevent that good from manifesting also. So, like that, those who are trapped in desires are what we can say receptors of this kind of force only, the lower force. And they go on that path, is what Krishna says. But not those who seek the divine, who have, overcome that pull and turn to the divine. Krishna says, Chaturvidha bhajante mam janaha sukruti norjuna arto jignasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. Amongst the pure ones, who their devotion offer, fourfold are the ones who to me surrender. The suffering, the seekers of greater good, the knowledge seekers, and the devotees by whom I am understood. So Krishna says that even the path of devotion also generally people walk in one of the four ways. So you see, it's like people choose their routes, but again, the route of devotion also, one of the ways, that marga of seeking the divine. One is, means how do people surrender? One, through suffering. Through suffering, they realize the divine. That is one way. By experiencing suffering, they keep moving on their path. Then there are the others who are probably karma yogis, the lokasangrih, the ones who want to do good for the betterment of the world. So that marg is also one more marg which people choose. Then others, they feel, no, knowledge completely, it is through knowledge. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram na vidyate. Nothing is more pure than this knowledge. And so let me walk on the path of knowledge. Let me realize it. Let me realize the higher consciousness. And then there are the bhaktas who are engaging in constant smaran, nitya, japa, nitya, bhakti of the divine. So even the path, like we see, one path is the path of getting trapped in Maya through desires. People go on that path, do wrong things, go further and further, lower in consciousness. There's another path which is taking it higher. But even this path has four routes, one of the four ways. People seek the divine. But Krishna says here, among all, he says, Tesham jnani nitya yukta eva bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnani notya artham aham sa cha mama priya. So this is dear. He says, such a person is dear to me. Now, isn't that an aspiration all of us should have? If we can be dear to the divine. And who is that? Let us try to see. There are certain shlokas of the Gita where Krishna says, who is dear to me? You see the 12th Adhyaya, you will continuously see so many shlokas. It's the Adhyaya on Bhakti. Mat Bhakta, Same Priya, this person is close, this person is dear, who is like this. I think if we do an upasana of these shlokas itself, we will endear ourselves to Krishna. And that is sufficient. Later on, we'll have to just experience. Many people say, Ram hamara kaam kare, hum baithe aaram. Has anybody heard that? Ram hamara kaam kare, hum baithe aaram. Because I am, but it does not mean they're not doing anything or they're sitting lazily. But the divine's work, are we going to do the divine's work or divine is going to do the work? I have to do something for God. One person came and said, Acha, acha, what are you going to do? You're going to give him a bath? What work are you going to do for God? You have to do sadhana. God is doing his work. You have to become available for God's work. You're not doing God a favor by doing something. Today I did this much japa for God. It's not for God that we have done it, it's for ourselves. This aspect, this Krishna says, this person, he's able to understand who is, he's saying these are the ones who are close. Among them, he says this one. In the 17th shloka, he says, amongst them is the knower who is in divine union. With a single-minded devotion, he engages in my communion. And to me, and to that wise knower, I am most dear. And to me too, he is most beloved and near. So that person who is engaging in communion with the divine, who is now experiencing the oneness of the divine, that person, Krishna is calling him a Jnani. He has understood. He has understood the secret or the greatest knowledge. What is it? Knowledge of oneness with the divine. And that experience must be got. Do you think we can be one with divine? Has anybody met anybody who is one with divine anytime? Or have you experienced something like that? This person is one with the divine. Or have you heard of somebody, a legendary individual or something in life? Anybody? Yes, because this communion is something we need to understand. Can we live? Yes, Renuji.
Swami Vivekananda, he was one with the divine.
Yes,
And when
yes,
we
he was.
meditate at times, when we
Huh?
dive very deep, when we meditate at times, when we dive very deep into meditation, when we are not aware of the time, place, then also there is oneness with the divine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Emptiness, that lightness.
Yes. But what about non-meditation session?
Yes. If I am in divine consciousness, then I'm not aware of what I am doing.
And yes, maybe you are aware, but you are no ahankar is not there because many times the consciousness is not, the awareness is not lost. The person is very vigilant and aware of the surroundings, but the personal desires are not coming in between, isn't it?
Yes. And the work is done in a very smooth way.
Yeah.
Means you are not aware of the fruits of the work also. कि क्या
Yes,
होगा?
yes.
You are not expecting
Right.
anything out of that.
Yes. So yes, anybody else wants to add something about this oneness with the divine? No. All right. So very recently, I think just this week we are having one book release of a trust written by a wonderful author. I think I spoke about her some time back. She had got stroke 19 years ago, and this book release happened. She's called it Child because she sees Krishna as a child, and that's her dialogue. And every day she has dialogues. Whatever dialogue she's had, she's put it into the book as a poem and artwork. So you see, she did not even know that this day was the day of her stroke 19 years ago. But Krishna has arranged it. Why even a little thing? She says, I will ask the child, whatever the child wishes. So they were discussing about a cake. What cake should be there? So everybody should like that cake. So what is the flavor? So I said the mother of the child should be able to decide. So please tell me. Maji, what do you think? She didn't say my favorite flavor is this. She said child likes vanilla. Now how does she know? Or this is her experience. So when I asked the other person about this, he laughed and said, I would have told you only vanilla option is there because we don't have any other flavor. Now, how did she know? She didn't know about the options available, but she has chosen only that. How is that possible? Well, this oneness with the divine, she says, the child whispers in my ears. The child talks to me. There is this one more, Bahina Bai Chaudhary, the illiterate poetess who later on people are doing PhD on her. Means the one who did not know to read and write, she has become the source of doctorate degrees for so many people. You would say, Mazi Maya Soro Suti Maza Shika Vite Boli. My mother Soroswati, not even Saraswati, like how we say the prayer every day. She used to say Soroswati. Did Mother Saraswati get insulted? Oh, you have called my name differently. Not at all. But she says, I could hear, and she would say, Are Panduranga, you are coming and going. The winds are whispering, the rustling of the leaves. No, while she was working in the field, she says they were able to tell me coming and going. And for my sake, Bhagavad Gita has come out of the soil. While working in the field, while laboring hard in the sun, she is experiencing Bhagavad Gita's knowledge. How is this possible? This is possible with a communion. Communion is not only when we are in special moments or saying prayers or prarthana, it is at all times. And Krishna says, such an exalted person is a wise knower who has understood the Shastra's essence, who has understood Yoga's essence. And he says, that person is dear to me. And I too am near to such a person, is what Krishna says. Let us continue. He goes on further. Udaraha sarva evaite jnanitvatmaiva me matam asthita sahi yuktatma mame va nuttamam gatim. All these beings are most definitely noteworthy, but amongst them I consider him most worthy, who seeks my union as his life's ultimate ambition, for he dwells in the awakened self's condition. Krishna says all these are exalted ones who have understood how to become one with the divine. We talked about it, isn't it? The four margas where people choose, they try to connect with the divine. Somebody who lives in communion. But he says that most greatest one, who is he? Well, his entire aspiration and ambition is to become one with the divine. That is the entire sole occupation of life. I want this. I want sakshatkar. I want realization. I want to become one with the divine. So whatever that person is doing, he's not leaving the activities. Krishna is continuously hammering onto us while we are doing karma. So have all the yogis talked about it. Adi Shankaracharya said this. Yad yad karma karomi tadakhilam shambhota varadhanam. Every karma is the aradhana of mine for the divine. So such a person who is having this one single-minded devotion and one ambition. What's your ambition? What's your aspiration? I want to become one with God, to become God, to become one. It is said low aim is a crime. And so here the highest aim has been taken as the ambition of that person. And such a person is always in that awakened self's condition. He is in that state of awakening. Isn't that an ambition worth having and aspiring for? What Krishna has talked about. Practically, is it possible? Can we try? Realizing is not in our hands, but attempts are in our hand, isn't it? Look at Shabari. So late in her life, she got Guru's direction and Margadarshan. He said, oh, no, old lady, keep your body proper. Raghava will come. Tavad raksha kalaivaram. Drushtvev raghavam deham. Yasasi tat padam. You will reach that highest status of exaltation. At what age? At the most senior age of life. And then when she sees Rama, she is so happy. Tathaiva karavam Rama tvadyanaika parayana pratiksha gamanam tedhya sapalam guru bhashitam. Arey, my Guru's words have come true. My Guru's words have come true. Sri Rama has come. That realization. That is the aspiration. But that ambition was one ambition, isn't it? All actions going on. Our every daily duty is going on. But in our heart of hearts, that single ambition. That is what Krishna is saying. That is really a noteworthy person. And what happens when somebody has that ambition? What happens when somebody seeks? Anybody? What happens when you seek? What is the natural consequence of seeking?
You achieve.
You achieve, you find, isn't it? I lost my keys, I searched for it, and I found them. So I'm seeking realization. Well, you will achieve that realization. And Krishna says this. He says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevaha sarvamiti sa mahatma sa durlabha. So durlabha. Vasudevam sarvamiti. Vasudeva everywhere. This realization is what Krishna is talking about. He says, after many successive births can this fortune arise. When the divine is perceived through the mortal eyes, very rare and blessed indeed is that seeking soul who experiences the omniscience of the divine as a whole. Sarvavyapya, Sarvagata, Sarvatra, Deva is there everywhere. When are we going to see? When we seek, we will realize. Darshando Ghanshyamnath Mori Akhiya Pyasi Re. My eyes are thirsty. And when the eye is thirsty, then only it will seek, isn't it? That seeking is not there. And Vasudevam Sarvamiti means everywhere. In the outside also. Can we see Vasudeva everywhere? Is the question. Practically. Yes, Kartik ji.
Yeah, if you seek, you'll find. So, I mean, not
Yeah.
physically, but
Yes, but I'm saying physically only what, because it's very rare is that opportunity which comes after many births, that with the mortal eyes, the human being is able to perceive the divinity. But I'm just saying in our practical life, can we think of XYZ who is absolutely not divine? Their faces probably come inside, I have to see Krishna in this person. Is it possible? That's my question. In everyone.
Without realization, maybe it is not possible. As in,
Okay.
it is difficult for us to imagine that. So that's the reason. Once you, reach that realization or consciousness, you actually start understanding the oneness.
Okay, so maybe if it is with that realization, and so it's not very like maybe it's manifestable, isn't it? Means right now, maybe till we get the realization, I am going to like yesterday I was going on the road, one person overtook me from the left, and he overtook at such a fast speed, and I said, "Hey, what is it?" And he puts his hand as if I'm the fool and I'm doing the wrong. I'm like, "Arey yaar, what is this? This should be some logic." But again, you cannot control another person's. Now imagine if I see Krishna in that, how will it be possible? Logically, I'll say, no, there is no Krishna in this fellow. This fellow is a fool, or this person is like this. But this is the problem. Many times the Veda starts from little things only, and we do not realize the divinity. Best example is read the experience of Sri Aurobindo in Alipur. In a jail, which is 6 by 9 feet, solitary confinement, one simple, small prison with no amenities, designed to make a person crazy. 1 year. And somebody like Sri Aurobindo, of his caliber, is so great. He was trapped there. But he got Vasudevam Sarvamiti experience. And he says that was where. He was like, he had said, I had gone to the verge. I was not sure what is going to happen. What is it? What will happen of the dream, the great legend, the symbol? What is going to happen to his life? He has come to serve Bharat, and now he has been by the forces put into a jail. These are, I'm not talking about the British forces. You can say the lower forces, the Asuri forces. They have, stemmed him from his potential or whatever he has to realize. That was where the Samvad began. That jail, which is what we can say a dingy place, now has become a pilgrim spot. People go there just to go there and just do their pranams. That was the place where he got the Sakshatkar. That was the place where he got this experience of Vasudevam Sarvamiti. He says, in the prison grating, in the walls, I saw Vasudeva. In the sentry, I saw Vasudeva. It was like, then I was sure. He said, Vasudeva's presence, and he said, now I don't need to worry. Nothing is going to happen. The false case against me also will be dropped. And he didn't have a small case of, what, this person has violated some XYZ rule. No, the greatest treason was put onto him, and the capital punishment was possible in that case. That was the aspiration. Because a young, even Subhash Chandra Bose had got inspired by the fiery words of Sri Aurobindo during his revolutionary days, that the British wanted to push this eternal flame which was burning inside of him. But the moment he got that realization, he said, a sea of peace. And everywhere he said, I saw Vasudeva. In the sentry also. The guards who were guarding the prison, there's Vasudeva. Then there were other prisoners. All were not yogis. All were not like Sri Aurobindo. And all were not revolutionaries also. They were what we call petty criminals. Petty criminals, thieves, swindlers, even murderers maybe, in the same cell as Sri Aurobindo. But he says, in the misused bodies I saw you. Yes, Manisha.
Sir, I have a question. What quality in the criminal must he might have seen, which did he mention this? I'm very curious to know what quality did he perceive any.
Vasudeva is what he saw, and he used the word misused bodies. So
Okay.
the body is being misused, the Vasudeva is latent inside. So not the outer quality or what we can say Lakshana, no? The Lakshana may be like this, the criminal may be scratching his head, looking here, there, elsewhere. And the outer surface, no. But he could see on the cosmic level, he could understand behind the surface there was Vasudeva. And suddenly he saw this is if you see many times, yogis, when they see people, they see the inner being of that person. They don't see the outer appearance. They're able to identify, hello, this is a seeker. This light is burning here, the light is not burning. This light has to burn. How are they identifying? There is no glow coming out on the physical directly from the, what we can say, sthula level, isn't it? So it was not in the gross physical that he saw. He saw something in the sukshma level. So that is what he was able to see. He saw it in the judge and in the prosecution, who is fighting for him, who is fighting against him, whatever the advocates were talking. Suddenly he's like, it's just a game of Krishna. It's a game of Vasudeva. Like how Barbaric saw, isn't it, according in Mahabharata? When they asked him, what did you see in the battle? He said, who was fighting whom? Pandavas were fighting Kauravas. I saw Krishna. Krishna was fighting against Krishna only, and everywhere that Krishnamaya Jagat, that experience came. It's very difficult, isn't it, to recognize this or to see this? But that is a realization that must be got. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha is what the Gita also talks about, or Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. When are we going to get that? When are we going to get that? Isn't everybody a human being that way on the inside? Isn't there a heart inside everyone? And if that heart awakens, then we have transformations like Vala to Valmiki, Maharshi Valmiki, huge transformations. This is possible. And this experience is what Krishna is talking about. If you see in the Isha Upanishad also, this outer experience is a prerequisite for getting the inner experience also, the next experience. This Vasudevam Sarvamiti, of course, they don't use the same word in the Isha Upanishad, but they say, Yatte Kalyanatamam Tatte Pashyami. Let me see in the brilliance of all that is pure and all that is right. Let me see the divinity. Who is being asked? The great Vedic Rishi who has already got some Sakshatkar. He is praying to Pushan, the god Pushan, that Pushan is the nourisher of all living beings. He says, give me the strength to perceive your divinity in all. And then realize that I too am thee. Soham Asmi is the second Sakshatkar. First is this. So we have to try to recognize this. I think you must have heard a beautiful song. Tareef karu kya uski, ya jisne tujhko banaya. Means here they are seeing the beauty of the creator in the beloved. Yeah, what is this? Sri Aurobindo said that so beautifully. There's a poem. I'm not able to remember the name, but it is very nicely in the coy smile of a bride. The same hand that has set Jupiter spinning has spent all its cunning in fashioning a curl. Means you see the cosmic forces it is playing and the universe, the same forces. Well, you just look at the smallest of small. Look at the ant, look at the elephant. They have the same life force, isn't it? The same pran vayu is working inside a human being also, inside the animals, birds, all of them. That What is that pranavayu? If you are able to see that, you're going to suddenly, wow, what is this? This is such a beautiful miracle, this universe, this existence. Well, something of that sort. That sama darshana is an important aspect. But Krishna says it comes after several years of sadhana, several years of tapasya, sometimes several janmas also. Who knows? Why do we have to wait for another janma? We might have finished a lot of things in our last janma. Right now, we are just feeling, no, I don't want to do it. But maybe this birth also we can get that experience. But it can be got. That is definitely an experience so many people have shared. Like I talked about, even Ushaji, she is seeing a divine only, isn't it? She's calling him the child. Somebody will call it some other name. But that perception is there. Look at Sri Aurobindo's experience. This is a perfect experience of Vasudevam Sarvamiti. If you read it, there cannot be a better description of this shloka than the experience in Alipur for Sri Aurobindo. Vasudevam Sarvamiti. And Krishna says, so Mahatma sa Durlabha. A rare person is that Mahatma. He is the Mahatma. Such a person is worthy of being called Mahatma, according to Krishna, according to the Shastra, not by some decree of some governmental organization which says, henceforth this person should be called Mahatma. No, this is the realization. Let us continue. Krishna goes on. Kamaistais. Yes, the 20th one. Kamaistais ritagnyanaha prapadyante anya devataha tam niyamamasthaya prakritya niyataha swaya. By various outer desires, many seekers are misled, who to fulfill their desires seek a personal godhead. And the demigods, by conditions and rules they bind, arbitrarily based upon the nature of their mind. Bhagwan, yeah, मेरी परीक्षा नहीं है, तुम्हारी परीक्षा है. This is a dialogue many bhaktas say. So are you going to make the divine write your exam? No, it is not. But no, this is it. This is the question of Shraddha. This is a matter. So these are all mental logics which people function will very arbitrarily. In many homes, I think in a very difficult moment, they keep their Ishta or Aradhya in a pail of water. And then they do the japa in the opposite direction, the mala. Of course, it might be having a tantric significance. I'm not denying that. But for little things, these are conditions which, if my son does not come by 8 o'clock, I am not going to do this. And they put a condition on me. No, I am worried. So now I will put you in this water. Till my son comes, I will not take you out of this water. Whom are you putting in water? The Balkrishna. Who is this Balkrishna? Tesham aham samudharta mrityu sansara sagar. The one who is taking the entire world across the sagar of mrityu. Is he going to drown in a small vessel of water? He's not going to drown. But that's a condition which has been imposed. Who has put the condition? Is it man? Yes, it is man. It is the mental logic. Why? Because logic functions according to that. Many people say, no, don't worship Ma Saraswati. She'll give you wisdom. You'll have a big head. Your hair will grow white. Instead, worship Ma Lakshmi. She will give you good wealth. You can enjoy prosperity in life. But again, that's a bhed, isn't it? Between Ma Lakshmi and Ma Saraswati. Why do we need to make that? Prosperity and wisdom come together also. And these both Devis are actually different facets of the one great Devi only. So people, they don't worship Shiva. He is here in the Shmashan. Worship Kubera. He will increase your FDs and bank locker. All the balances will increase. But who gave the blessing to Kubera? It was Shiva only, isn't it? The great Vairagi, the great Yogi, the great Bholenath, whatever names you call him, Vishveshwaraya, Mahadeva, Trambakaya, Tripurantakaya, whatever name you want to call him. But this is not understood by people, so all of them, using their arbitrary limitations, they try to bind the devatas in that also. So they bind them. Means this is not that the god is getting bound. Their mind is creating restrictions. So who is actually the person who is getting restricted? Is it the Deva who is getting restricted by these arbitrary conditions? Anybody? Who is getting restricted in this with these arbitrary conditions? Anybody?
We
The
ourselves.
Okay, Manisha ji says we ourselves. Karthik ji, you were saying
Yeah, the self.
the self only, isn't it? So that is something we must understand. Krishna goes on, he says, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhayarchitumicchati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. Whatever form of mind that the devotees choose, their devotion towards me, I do not refuse. I ensure that their confidence remains firm and their faith in their desired forms, I only affirm. This is something interesting that Krishna is saying. He says, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta. Means whatever form that the bhakta is seeking, whichever form he seeks, Krishna says, I don't break that person's devotion. I don't break that person's shraddha. I do not refuse their offering. Instead, I make them more confident. Probably I'll give them a darshana also. I will bless them with certain indications. I'll show them omens and make that confidence firm in their bhakti. If I imagine Krishna to have two horns, he might give me a darshana with two horns also. Why? Because he does not want to break my bhakti. Instead, he wants to further me on the path. My question is, isn't this trapping in another Maya? Willfully, the divine is trapping us. Yeah.
I think he says this because he also said, I am present everywhere. So it's a different manifestation
Matter.
in any case.
It doesn't matter. You call your mother Mama, Mimmi, Ma, Ai, Amma, Taye, whatever name we want to say. It will not change the love and as what we can say the bhakti, isn't it? Of the person. The name may be different, but the seeking. Yes, and he allows it to remain because he wants the person's sadhana to go ahead. Because at least because of this, what is happening? You are moving ahead. That is what the divine is concerned with, our growth in consciousness. There was a friend of mine in school. He would say he would go to a particular temple and offer 2 coconuts before the exam. Very sincerely. And you know what? He got good marks. That's all. That god became very popular and the coconut seller nearby also had good business. Everybody started going with coconuts because here good exchange rate, boss. 2 coconuts, good marks. It's all right. Then people would make conditions. After exam, I'll give you coconut, 1 coconut. Before exam, 1 coconut. After result, all these conditions, they were binding. But problem is not everybody was getting result, but that friend was getting a result. Then there was a belief that Aradhya or that Bhagavan is listening and partial only to that friend. But this friend also was consciously believing that these coconuts are working. This offering was giving him that satisfaction and ananda at that time. Of course, another factor which people were not looking at his sadhana also. What he was doing, he was studying hard. He was trying to understand everything. That was also an important aspect. But you see that aspect of, he said, I got this feeling, I prayed to God, I got the answer in the exam paper. While I was thinking, I just asked, oh no, what should I do? I asked and I got the answer. So has God cheated then? By giving hints? Or it is that consciousness of that person suddenly has become calm and peaceful, is able to recall his smriti is better now. And what has happened is that Bhagwan has given moments. Bhagwan has given moments for taking him ahead. Many, many conditions, many, many prayers. Sometimes, God, please give me, I want to go on a date. Whatever happens, you please make this happen. If you make this happen, I will do everything. Now, whether or not that date is going to go ahead or not, the divine will think, chalo, le lo, jao, have fun. But afterwards, Arey yaar, why did I go? Question may also come, but that's different aspect. But see, that little thing also is being listened to. That little prayer, so happy he feels that, chalo, my sadhana, I will now offer more. I am going to offer to the divine. Swaha, everything hence to the divine only. So he's trying to push us ahead in consciousness and he does not refute our shraddha, which is offered sincerely. So when the divine does not do this bheda, when the divine does not ridicule, it would have been wrong, no? If somebody went and told you, foolish boy, don't give coconuts like this, you're wasting coconuts. You cannot offer coconuts to God. It's not because of coconuts that you got. Today, that boy has not come. He has left that city. So I don't think he comes all the way to offer 2 coconuts to the same temple now. But he has grown up and his sadhana has gone ahead. Now there is no exchange rate of coconuts for actions or results. He must be doing a different sadhana. I'm not in touch with it. This was the fact. So this aspect is for our growth that he is allowing is one important aspect. And when the divine is not doing bhed, I don't think we have the right to do bhed. Many times your God is lower, your God is inferior, your methodology is lower, your sadhana is not so good. This is Vamachar, this is Kaulachar, this is Dakshinachar, this is better, that is better. Which is better is actually the onus of the individual, isn't it? Can you say you cannot do like this? Some people say, no, you have to identify your Shraddha must be like this. According to Shastra, you must. Some people give conditions for choosing the Guru. You must study this Guru. You do the resume analysis, background check, vetting. I mean, are you going to go there? Are you capable of even verifying how your Guru is? But our job is not to break anybody's Shraddha. Our job is to focus in our sadhana, our upasana. Divine will do that work through us. And the divine allows a person to move ahead on the path. Whichever path the person is going, the divine does not refute the Shraddha. He goes on further. He says, Sataya Shraddhaya Yuktaha Tasya Radhana Mihate Labate cha Tataha Kaman Mayaiva Vehitan Hitan. Enthused with this faith, his devotion he pursues, and a force in his worship I then infuse. Even though through faith objects he seeks, when fulfilled, they are my fruits that that he keeps. He may be asking for material objects. But I push that person ahead. Sometimes I give him his aspiration also. Whatever sadhana a person does and he aspires for something, even it is not a, it means Krishna has told, no, karmanye vadhikaraste mam phaleshu kadachana, without fruits perform your action. But here he is saying that even when you worship also, if you have some desires, he says, I'll give you those desires. Hasn't he broken this rule? Or isn't it looking like he is giving an exception that the Karma Yoga principle is not functioning here? Anybody?
I
Is
think
this
he's
is my
yeah. Sorry,
Yes,
Manisha. Go ahead.
Manisha ji and then Chaitanya ji, because I think Manisha ji started first. Yes, ji.
is this his Maya which is working now?
Okay. I would say no, not the Maya actually. I mean, Maya is working everywhere that way, even at this moment. But Chaitanya ji, yeah.
I think he's in a way also saying that what he had said before, that you don't try to, you don't run behind fruits. It's in my hands to give, so I will give it. So you don't, you may be having those desires, but as he had explained earlier, you don't run behind them. It is up to me when and how to give it. So maybe that is how he's saying that I will give. It's not like that I won't give. But what he had initially explained is that you don't wait, or you don't, keep doing things for that fruit only. You try
Yeah.
to see the bigger picture.
Yes. So seeing the bigger picture means you do a mantra japa or you do a stotra part, not only for the phalashruti. There's a phalashruti at the end. These many times you chant this mantra, you will get this in return. So many people, while they're chanting the mantra, instead of focusing on the divine, their focus is only on the phalashruti. When will it come? When will it come? So asking the divine for something, is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. You won't ask your parents, no, who will you ask? It's something like that. It's not wrong. But only this, I want only this, and that rigid attachment to the result. It's like, okay, can I have a chocolate? You ask your parents. They decide, they will give. Otherwise, they don't give. But it is up to them. They know what is right for you, isn't it? It is something like that for a small child, the same thing. Same is for a sadhak also. That way, otherwise, again, people make one more rigid. No, you are not supposed to. It's all Nishkam Karmyo. So Nishkam Prarthana. You are going to ask for strength, ask for wisdom, ask for light, ask for, you see the entire Chamakam, Shanchame, Mayaschame, Priyanchame, Nukamashchame, Somaschame, Bhadramchame, Shreyaschame, Yashaschame, so many. That Chamakam is full of wants only. But for what? For the divine. This strength I want to receive for doing the divine work. But if the divine does not give, also you should be in a position to accept it. That is the problem where people don't accept. Yes, Renuji.
But when we ask something, we restrict ourselves.
Yes. That is why sometimes it is said best prayer, no, is a thank you, gratitude for what is given. I have faith in the divine that the divine will give me what is required. I will not ask. I have known some people who have not asked for, who are suffering from ailments. They have to get cured. This is a bodily aspect. Let the body take its course. Let the medicine do its course. My Aradhya, I will not disturb. He has only given this ailment. It is up to him. If he wants to remove it, let him remove it. They're not even making that. But that surrender is there. So we're not saying it's wrong, but Krishna says it's all right. Sometimes I give the fruits that a person desires also. Because they are my fruits, I'm giving it to them. Even if he does not fully understand it, it's okay. Why? I am interested in taking that child ahead. I am interested in raising the consciousness. That is all that I need ultimately. He goes on further, he says, Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedhasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. But these fruits are temporary and do not last long. Why? That's the problem with all desires, isn't it? You do a stability test, you will see a very short expiry date for desires. Each desire is driven by something, it has a finite beginning, finite end. So Krishna says, but these fruits are temporary and do not last long, for their founding reasons are petty and not strong. Whichever demigod they worship, that demigod they obtain. But my devotees come to me and my oneness they attain. So Tattva is one, isn't it? The Brahma Tattva, which Krishna is talking about. He says, yes, you are having some Swartha, and with Swartha you are trying to attain one, you become. But when you are trying to become one with the divine, you don't have to worry. Because these fruits are temporary. I want this, I want a particular bike. As a youngster in college, bike is the most important thing for him. But then after in their 30s and all, no, I don't want bike at all. It's so boring traveling in bike. Let's go in a car. Afterwards, they say, I don't want to travel only. So what's happening? Priorities are changing, isn't it? Why even at one time also priorities change a lot. I remember one person, he was madly after one girl. He wanted that girl to accept him in college. He was really chasing, and she's so beautiful like the moon, and almost poetry is just flowing from this person, and he was somehow trying to convince her to accept him. I don't know what happened. Within a short span of 6 months, he suddenly started seeing so many craters in that moon, which was so beautiful for him. Immediately, he was like, Arey, what did I do? She accepted me. Now I'm feeling bad. What has happened? You see, this person's desire only is changing. Why? Foundation is petty. Foundation is not strong. Out of desire, out of moha, I want transfer. Whatever happens, I'm going to do one particular japa for getting a transfer. People do that. They get the transfer. And then they're like, hey Ram, why did I get this transfer? I should have asked for something else. Look here, this is a worse situation than I was before. So instead of having all outer appearances or, desires only driving your actions, focus on the divine is what Krishna is saying. You will come to me is what he says. But Krishna goes on further. He says, Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayah param bhavam ajananto mav avyam anuttamam. The mind's ignorant and small, consider me the unmanifest, who am limited. I am limited and finite, and cannot wholly manifest, for they know not the truth of my being immutable. I am the supreme, most perfect, and imperishable. Krishna is saying this. The limited mind, the ignorant mind says, no, there is no God, nothing is there. I don't see any oneness in the world. You are different, I am different. My heart is made of stone, your heart is made of something else. Our hearts are not beating the same. We don't have similarities. There is no consciousness in all living beings also. These are the ignorant thoughts. They don't recognize. Best aspect, friend of mine, I connected after a long time, and that person said, I pity God. I'm like, wow, this person has now become higher than God and he's offering his pity. And he said, I have got into a new religion called Discordianism and all of that. I said, Acha, then do you have some aim, aspiration? No, I don't have any aim. Right? He said he has a girlfriend. I said, why do you have a girlfriend if you don't have an aim? You are looking to start a family, starting a family or being together. I may have biological children. I was like, what is a non-biological child then? What is the meaning of this? And then that was very crazy. It was in my earlier days after joining Namleji, so much that I said, if I talk to this person more, my mind only will get diverted or disturbed. Let me just avoid talking to him. But it was so crazy the way he was thinking and talking. And for me, it was difficult. Then somehow again, I connected with him after a year or two. When I talked to him, he was laughing. No, no, now I have changed into some other philosophy. I am not in this philosophy anymore. Because these desires change. So what is important to us today may not be important to us tomorrow. Sometimes the most important thing in life today is, say, one aspect is so important for me today. 10 years down the line, it may be most insignificant. You'll be fighting with the world for one small thing today. Tomorrow, that small thing for which you have put your entire force suddenly feels, what is it? It's not worth it. Or I don't need it anymore. I don't need it. Even if it comes to me, I don't care. That situation has changed. So this is a finite beginning, finite end. That is what desires are there because the foundation is there, which is not, if the foundation is strong, it will remain. But if foundation is petty, it will crumble. It is as simple as that. But the minds that are ignorant do not understand this. So they say God is limited, God is infinite, God cannot manifest. But they don't understand my full truth that I am the greatest of existences. I am the Almighty, Supreme, Super Conscient One, which is present everywhere, hidden by Maya, unavailable to you because you're not able to see beyond the veil. But I am there, I am present. Naham prakasham sarvasya yoga maya samavritah mudhoyam nabhijanati loka mamajam avyayam. To all beings I am not revealed, for behind Maya's veil I am concealed. The world is hoodwinked and bewildered. About my immortal truth, it hasn't pondered. I am that supracosmic, immortal existence. But the world is unconscious. The world does not know. Because of Maya only. We are trapped. We are trapped in our karma bandhana. We are trapped in our janma marana cycle only. Now just take the case of the epidemic that we had very recently, the COVID pandemic. What happened in that epidemic? Man was considering himself to be the most supreme, isn't it? Advanced. We have now crossed over the past 100 years, 200 years. Medical advancements have become so much that such a situation will never come again. Again, it is the same, isn't it? The plague which was there before, the same thing now. Everybody's again wearing masks, what they were doing more than 100 years ago. And till date, they are not able to fully identify how to classify a virus, living or non-living. Inside of a media, it is living, otherwise it becomes inert. And look at this one small virus is in the nano level, no, its size. What did it do? It brought about the entire world to a halt. All the plans, everything of the entire world suddenly, showing that no, man is not in charge of the world. Man is not, we are not in control of so many things. People had planned a very big world expo at that time. I was aware of it. It was said to be one of the biggest expos somewhere in the Middle East. So many organizations. It was like already planned to become a big success, but nobody was able to plan this outcome, isn't it? And suddenly everything stopped. This is the aspect, but the world is not. I don't have time to ponder on the divine not because the divine is not important. It's because I am trapped in Maya. It's because I have never even tried to ponder an existence beyond what is mine. A nice कव्वाली is there. सोचा क्या कभी तूने ये, आए तुम कहाँ से हो, जाओगे कहाँ ये सोचा, नहीं रे नहीं. तूने क्या बनाई, तूने क्या सजाई, सब किया है तो उसने, तूने बातें बनाई. This is everything in the divine is made. You are just made stories. I did this, I did that. I have achieved so much, I have achieved that. But a wise person understands, no, I am not an individual island of an entity. I'm connected cosmically with consciousness to so many people. My actions are not my own individual actions. They are all collective. The Samuha is there. This realization is an important one. That is why even in Buddhism, it is Sangam Sharanam Gacchami, isn't it? Have to understand the outer consciousness also of people also. Recognize that. But the world is busy, so they do not. Krishna goes on, he says, 26th shloka, I playfully call it the sorrow of Krishna. Krishna is always smiling, always laughing. There's no aspect of sorrow in his life. But if at all there is one, I would say this one is there. What is it? Let us see. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda na kashana. Oh Arjuna, the past, present, and future of every existence I know for sure. He's Trikalatita. So he knows the three kalas also. What is past, what is present, what is future. You have fallen down now. You may feel bad. Why have I fallen down? He is able to see why you have fallen down, how it was required for you to fall so you get up again. Even next birth, he is able to see things. Krishna says the past, the present, and future of every existence I know for sure. Though I know equally about every living one. He is following that samatha. Equally about every living one. He's equidistant from all and he's able to understand equally what each person is going through. But with the knowledge of my existence, there is none. It's like a friend, isn't it? Who is saying, Arey yaar, I understand everybody, but nobody is understanding me. Krishna is saying, I know everything, all the three births also. So now if our friend is sad and this is the problem, what can we do to remove that problem? He says, there's nobody who understands me. Yes? Anybody?
I understand you.
Yes. So we have to try to let us understand Krishna. Let us understand, get closer and understand. Then we'll get the joy also. We'll start understanding his Leela and we'll be able to participate and probably dance with him. That experience of dancing with Krishna, that the Vrijavasis only can explain or the Gopis can explain best. And that is an experience that we must all experience also. So let us continue. Of course, Krishna has not said this is just a poetic interpretation of this shloka. Otherwise, it's just talking about he is Trikalatit, he is able to understand why did this happen. No, it is fine. And just the same example I can say very Usha ji, Maji, she's having a book release because of stroke, because of aneurysm. She was lying on the bed, eyes open. It was a crazy experience for everybody. And after that moment changed her life. Partially, she was not able to move all this, even 19 years. But she is saying this is Krishna's stroke of luck. It was a stroke of luck is what she's calling it. And she said, see, because of this, all of my relatives are I'm able to connect with them. Even those who have not connected, I'm going to meet them. I'm going to see all of them. When suddenly she's able to see in what is wrong or what is somebody will not be able to say this, no? Something happens, you get hurt even a little bit, you cannot talk about it to anybody with gratitude. Forget gratitude, you can't even talk about it. It creates a scar. But look at this. One more classmate of mine. She said, I'm thankful to God for the blood cancer. I was like, wow. Third stage, she suddenly got right at the year she was going to get married. And that year she got blood cancer. And then, oh my God, chemotherapy for nearly, what we can say, 1.5 years. But she says, I'm grateful I could see something. The divine gave me a fast experience. How can you see that? Well, that is what we can say, Vasudevam Sarvamiti, a sort of a portion of that realization, realizing the divine hand in even our falls. Krishna says, I am able to see past, present, future. Krishna might have been smiling that time. None of us were smiling. This is a 7-year-old story I'm talking about. Her father was like, what will happen to her? He was crying inconsolably. Her friend who was going to be with her left. So now who is going to be what? She did not even want to think about her future. She was thinking, let me have a present right now. Now she's very happily married and a different life is going on, which was considered impossible 7 years ago. But somebody that time who knew what's going to happen, he said, chalta hai, koi problem nahi hai, ab theek ho jayega. but they would have said you're crazy, because that is something Krishna is able to see. Probably we need to align our vision in light of the divine. Somebody wants to add something, is it? Was it? No, Dr. Swarupaji. Do you want to add something, Ji?
No, no.
All right, Ji, fine. Okay, fine. Let us continue. Yes. Let's just look at a couple of more shlokas. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti matparam. Krishna says, in the likes and dislikes, they are lost in desire's illusion. By the dualities of aversion and dislike, they are deluded. And from truth's gnosis, they are excluded. O Arjuna, bewildered is every living creation. Likes and dislikes. I like this, so I will do this. I dislike this, so I will not do this at all. Our entire life is just revolving around likes. Why did you go on this road? Because I like this, so I went here. But what if the other, no, that place I cannot go because I don't like it at all. How many experiences are we cutting off from our life just because of our like and dislike? And aversion also. We get trapped. We start hating certain things. We start loving certain things. Because of which we are getting disconnected from the truth, is what Krishna is saying in our life. So many moments. There are like two negations. This side one, that side one. Not here, not there. In the both negations, you are missing out on the truth. If you're able to watch with Samadarshana, it's all right. This is one end, that is another end. Isha Upanishad says Vidya is at one end, Avidya is another end. You get trapped on this end or you get trapped on that end. Why do you want to get trapped when you want to be free? So transcend both. Then there will be what we call reconciliation. What is reconciliation? Well, reconciliation of opposites, reconciliation of matter and spirit. That should be done. That is why Bhagavad Gita is there. What Sri Aurobindo also talked about, transformation of matter. When matter shall reveal the spirit's face. When will that reconciliation come? When understanding is there. Otherwise, by force, by desire, what can you bring? Can you bring a reconciliation with force? Anybody? It cannot, isn't it? What can you bring with force? You can only bring a compromise. And what will happen with a compromise? Compromise will immediately get broken the moment other party loses that force. The other party tries to. It's just a game of forces going on. Both are not satisfied in the compromise. One person is satisfied, another person is dissatisfied. Balance is always lost. But when reconciliation is there, they can go hand in hand. Two people who are fighting can resolve their conflict as well. For that, we need to be free from this likes and dislikes. Krishna goes on. We will stop at the 28th shloka. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dhrudavrataha. But those virtuous men who are from sin freed, who have given up their every material need, steadfastly they believe in my overlordship and engaged devotedly in my worship. But those virtuous ones, they are free from all sin, free from all these aversions, likes, dislikes. And material needs also are fulfilled. I don't have. Sometimes people say, I have this need. No matter what, this need only keeps me connected with the Prithvi. Otherwise, I will be floating in levitation. I am such a great yogi. No. Deeds, don't have to have attachments also. You're transcending it, isn't it? Everything. You're not hating anything. You're not rejecting anything. Sri Aurobindo he used to smoke sometimes in the early stages. He was doing it, but he was not attached to it. Somebody came and said, why are you sticking to smoking? Why are you sticking to non-smoking? Simple question. Opposite, attachment. And then he transcended. Because then afterwards he was able to, because there are a lot of yogis, their physiology is different. A lot of them. But because he is doing, some of the sadhaks in the ashram started, no, he is doing, so I can also do. Yadyad acharati shrestha. It is the burden of the leader. The leader has to lead in all fronts. So immediately that moment onward, he says, no, I don't need it. It's all right. He stopped. Not required at all. Well, this aspects, outer appearance, this person spoke like this, so he is a fool. This person said this, or this person did this, so this person is wrong. All these are unnecessary categorizations that we are making. We are getting trapped ourselves in the moha. We are creating further dvandva only. That dvandva is the problem. When the dvandva is over, then there is no battle is only not there. It's all a dance of the forces. People play sports, isn't it? They fight, one person trying to beat the other. But actually, the spirit of the game is what? Love all, let's play. Most of the games start with that only. The first point, it's called love all. In the way you call it badminton or you see the other games. It's what is the spirit is what? That oneness. Let that be a dance. Let that game, say a badminton match is happening. Let that be a game of skill where each person is offering their best. If that becomes in yoke to the divine, you will see it will be like a dance. The perfect smash is hit, the perfect return, the good forehand, excellent backhand. Nobody's trying to beat the other, they're just trying to express better. It's like a jugalbandi which happens in music. It is something like that. Who is the winner? When the player, both players are the winner. The referee is also the winner. The audience is also the winner. All are experiencing that ananda, all are experiencing that joy. The joy of a beauty. I think this has happened many times on some of the beautiful, highest level of competition. The topmost players, they actually acknowledge the opponent, even though they lost the point. We see a big smile on their face after losing the point. Why? Well, that was a beautiful dance. This was grace. This was perfection. This was closest we could go to what we can call divine also. And that is exactly what is to be realized. And Krishna is saying the virtuous men, they have given up the dvandvas, they steadfastly believe in my overlordship, and hence they engage devotedly in my worship. Gita is going to get an interesting turn after this. Arjuna is also going to get transformed from a skeptic to a seeker. All his questions will suddenly change. And what is going to bring that change? Mrityu, death. The question of death, suddenly that topic is going to come. 8th Adhyay, that is the Adhyay. Two more shlokas remain in the 7th Adhyay. We'll look at it tomorrow and then win. There's a Yaksha Prashna also which was asked to Yudhishthira. What is the biggest riddle? Death is the biggest riddle in mankind. Why is it a riddle? Because everybody knows it's going to come to them. But they don't know it's going to come to them. They see it will, they assume it will happen to everybody else. Though it is a known fact, isn't it? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, death, old age, disease. These are truths of life. But no, not me. It will not happen to me. This is the entire thought. So with this, we conclude. I request anybody, please, if you can summarize what we saw today, and we can conclude with the Shanti Mantra. If you have any queries, you are most welcome. Yes, please. Anybody would like to give the summary? Yes, Chaitanya ji. Yes, sir.
Today we started with Shri Krishna saying that those who are trapped in desires and Maya and evil, they actually won't be able to attain him, and they move towards those negative forces we talked about. He told about 4 ways in which you can realize the divine. One was suffering. While suffering, you can realize it. Other one was karma yoga, when you do your jobs perfectly and honestly, and you engage in karma yoga. That was another. Third one was knowledge or realization. Those who want to get that realization or consciousness, and they try to achieve that. And fourth one was bhakti, the pure devotion and bhakti towards your aradhya. That is also another way of doing it. But Shri Krishna is the one who actually is in yoga or communion with the divine, and with that knowledge he keeps doing his karma sincerely with no attachments. That person is dearer to me, and I am also dearer to him. So he's the one who he has considered as greatest one. And I mean, he has that ambition to perform. I mean, he has that ambition to become one with divine, and with that ambition only, he's kind of doing all his karmas. So eventually, there was we also talked about the realization of Vasudevam Sarvamiti. So it may happen that at the initial stage we may not be able to see it, but maybe like teachers sometimes say that for now you take this as a rule. Later you will realize it once you get hold of these things. So it's kind of that he's saying you understand it is I am everywhere. It may not. It may be the question of realization when you realize it. But yeah, you need to understand this part. So that sometimes he said that people bind some devatas, and they say that if you don't give me this, like we said, yeah, I will put you in water, or it's your exam, it's not my exam. But God is not going to come and give your example, do your karmas for you. You have to take effort, and then let results be in hands of God. So that is important. He also explained about desires. So it is okay to have some desires. It is okay to pray for something or wish for something. But we should not be hard bound to that. We need to realize that we doing karma is in our hands. Whether getting those desires fulfilled or not, that is in the hands of divine. And he said, "I will do that, but you need to see the greater picture. So you can't get stuck or trapped in that." So we also talked about different forms. He said, any form of my new worship, I'm going to accept it. I'm not going to break anyone's shraddha. And so we should be doing the same thing. We cannot discriminate people based on the forms of God that they worship. So it is possible that someone may worship different forms, and it is also they may attain the demigods. He used the word demigods for if you worship for something, you may attain that. But in terms of real devotion, or in terms of bigger picture, his devotees come to him because eventually he is the ultimate truth. He is the ultimate consciousness. So that we need to understand. So yeah, and we also talked about the last part. In the last part, that there was kind of, he was saying that I am everywhere, I'm here, hidden behind wheel of Maya, but people don't realize, people don't see it. So with the limited maybe logic of mind and ignorance, we are not able to realize the oneness of the divine. And once we realize that, because we actually start moving on, rather than getting stuck into the desires and everything. He says kind of, I have seen everything, I know what has happened, what is happening, and what is going to happen. I but and I see that people also getting stuck in likes, dislikes, and aversions. So that it is kind of his we can sorrow, or we can say he's saying that this is the fact that is happening, and I'm trying to actually, he's trying to push us ahead on our path. That's why he gives us different experiences. But yeah, we need to understand that and move ahead. So that's the reason he said that those who are virtuous, they neither neither get trapped in desires nor in hatred for something. They have that fine balance which they maintain and devotedly worship, or you can say surrender to divine and move ahead.
Absolutely, Chaitanya ji. So this is the thing. It's like one beautiful aspect of Sushma Swaraj, late Sushma Swaraj's quote is there. When something happens according to my wish, I accept it happily as Krishna Prasad. When something happens against my wish, I accept it happily as Krishna Ichha. It didn't happen according to my wish, but it's okay. It's God's wish then. It's all right. Let us keep going ahead. That is one aspect of sadhana. Let us see how Krishna is going to broach the subject of death to Arjuna. And Arjuna is going to have questions about death. That is sure. Many times that only shakes a person a lot. So, all right, then we conclude with a Shanti mantra. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashchit dukkha bhag bhave. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Hari Om. See you on tomorrow. Yes, please. Hari Om.
Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om ji. Namaskar.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. If no queries are there, I'll conclude the
Hari Om.
session. Hari Om.